This is ABC15 Mornings.
We want to say good morning to you and so grateful that you're starting your Saturday off with us. I'm Nohelani Graff.
And I'm Mark Thompson. Of course, our complete coverage of the global pandemic continues.
Arizona is seeing its first death from coronavirus. We're going to let you know what we know about that man and what our state is doing to slow the spread of the virus.
And students and teachers out of the classroom for 2 more weeks. This morning, we're hearing from families who are directly impacted by the closures.
Also, the spread of the virus is now leading to an explosion in telemedicine. How Valley doctors are using this to help keep patients safe. But first, we want to start you off with that most accurate forecast, help you plan for the day ahead as you figure out how to work around social distancing. Wanted to start off with a live view of the Papagos in the distance there. Sunrise this morning at 6:30, but we are starting to see those early morning colors. You see a few clouds in the distance there. Those will continue to clear out. And we're cool right now, 54 degrees in the Phoenix metro. We do have some valley cities in the upper 40s. So go ahead and crack that window open this morning as you enjoy that cup of coffee or tea. Maybe step out on the back patio and just really enjoy the colors as they start to change in the sky. We are going to stay cool for the next couple of hours here in the 50s through 9 o'clock this morning, but then we're going to have a pretty quick warm up. I'll talk about just how warm we will get coming up in that full forecast.
All right, Nohe, thank you. It is 6:01 on your Saturday morning. We've got new developments this morning about the coronavirus. Arizona announcing its first death from the virus. So here's what we know thus far. The man was in his 50s with an underlying health condition. He worked for the city of Phoenix in the aviation department. In an email to employees, the city manager said that the man, quote, worked in a remote office and had minimal public interaction within the terminal or airport facilities. Right now, Arizona has 70 confirmed cases of the coronavirus, but that number could be much higher because Arizona is struggling to obtain tests and only has tested 343 people thus far. And Nohe, I understand that you have more about the pandemic on the worldwide level and the latest developments here in the United States.
Exactly. Let's talk some numbers here for a moment, Mark. Globally, more than 1,100 people have died and more than 272,000 people have contracted the virus. Again, that's globally. There have been more than 250 deaths right here in the United States. And of course, the fears over the spread of the virus have been changing life across the U.S. for a lot of people. Residents in several states have been ordered to stay inside. The governor of New York now joining California as well as others in issuing some new mandates that begin tomorrow, which include ordering all non-essential workers to stay home. They're telling residents to stay indoors as much as possible and only leave to get food, medicine, or to get in that exercise solo.
Essential services have to continue to function. Grocery stores need food. Pharmacies need drugs.
Now, yesterday, President Trump did announce he is invoking the Korean War-era Defense Production Act, which directs American companies that can, including automakers, to start manufacturing masks, gowns, gloves, and ventilators.
And in another major development this morning, Arizona's statewide school closures are now extended to April 10th, meaning teachers and students will spend another 2 weeks out of the classroom. ABC 15's Nicole Valdez speaking with families and teachers who are directly impacted.
We never really expected anything like this to happen. You don't really plan anything like this to happen. So when it does, you kind of just wing it.
It's a new era of education. Both parents and teachers struggling to find the best way to keep their kids learning as Arizona battles the coronavirus crisis.
Today, we are announcing an additional 2-week extension of school closures until Friday, April 10th.
The biggest thing for us is how are we going to stay in contact with our kids, with our students.
Latoya Jones is a third-grade teacher at Edison Elementary in Central Phoenix.
We haven't really been pushing instruction or learning so much as like grading or anything like that, but definitely want to keep their brain strong and healthy.
And she's trying to get comfortable with virtual options, sending her students pictures and encouraging messages.
It's a learning curve for all of us, definitely.
Meanwhile, as parents prepare for 2 more weeks at home, some worry this pandemic isn't going away anytime soon.
It does make me sad and worry if, she's even going to be able to finish the actual school year.
So will kids be able to move forward and get to the next grade? Will seniors or 8th graders get to graduate? That's still up in the air.
I just think it is for the best for everyone's health and the teachers and They got to do what they got to do to keep everyone safe.
And it's all about getting creative and coming up with new ways to navigate this. So that was Nicole Valdez reporting. Now, the Arizona legislature did just pass a bill that puts a plan in place if kids do need to finish out the year at home. That proposal ensures that teachers will get paid and that students won't have to make up any missed days over the summer. But to do that, the plan relies on kids getting lesson packets to take home or get those assignments online. So we wanted to run the numbers on that, and we learned that there could be a bit of an issue here. According to census estimates, there are about 125,000 Arizona households with children under the age of 18 who don't have internet access. And about 2/3 of those households don't have a computer. You narrow that down right here to the valley, and you still have 53,000 households that don't have access to computers. And even with those numbers, the most impacted area of the state is going to be the Navajo Nation, where 1/3 of households with children don't have computers. Now, the Tempe Union School District is trying to help out with that problem as much as it can. They've been handing out laptops to students, and they're going to do it again today at McClintock and Mountain Point High Schools, as well as at the district office. So if your child needs a laptop, you do need to RSVP online through the school district website, and you need to do that ahead of time.
And as most places shut down amid the government orders, some daycares and preschools, they are staying open despite health warnings from officials. New this morning, Little Sunshine's preschool says that their 3 Valley locations in Scottsdale and Gilbert, they are still open, helping to care for kids of the men and women who are still working during this crisis.
Police, doctors, healthcare providers, military, government workers, we know that there are a lot of people who really rely on us to be able to go out there and do their job every day. And we feel, we feel like we need to be open for them.
Still, they say that they're doing their best to follow CDC recommendations while they are still staying open, and they're only allowing kids and teachers inside during regular health checks, and they are keeping group sizes small to 10 or less people in the rooms at all times to keep the potential spread at a minimum. And that's important to, limit the amount of people who are dealing with these children, only essential folks in the rooms.
And as we work to keep our distance through this pandemic, we are starting to realize as you start going through your normal routine, different things are coming up and you're not sure how to handle them. One, keeping doctor's appointments. A lot of people are wondering, should they delay the treatment of some non-emergency conditions?
Yeah, ABC15 investigator Melissa Blasius is finding that telemedicine may be the answer.
Doctors can't deliver a baby remotely, but OBGYNs can provide a lot of medical care through a video chat. MomDoc launched eVisit this week. In fact, we're using the app for this interview.
We're going to be the same providers that you would see in the office that you'd be able to see on your virtual visit. So we have access to your chart and be able to pull your information up, and you'll be able to see a familiar face, which I think will put a lot of patients at ease.
Dr. Brittany Stam can look to see if a C-section incision is infected or consult about birth control. We're seeing many more doctors announcing new online options just in time for patients anxious about COVID-19. 1,300 Arizona primary care doctors with Equality Health Network have telehealth now, too. It's ideal to virtually triage sick people, especially as coronavirus spreads. That's according to a Valleywise Health ER doctor.
Quick look at you, see how bad you are, and most of this can be done by history. If you have a thermometer, you can take your temperature, that much better. So what I would recommend is if you could use telemedicine, to use it.
Telehealth's being used in Maricopa County's Burn Center with stroke patients and even in substance abuse recovery. 2 Scottsdale centers just announced telehealth options. So if you have a smartphone, convenient and confidential care could be in the palm of your hand. Your telehealth options may vary depending on your insurance, so you want to check with them first. I'm investigator Melissa Blasius, ABC15 Arizona.
And our coronavirus coverage continues 24/7 on our website. We've got so many resources there, from tips to work at home to a list of restaurants that are still offering takeout service. And of course, the very latest information from health officials. It's all on abc15.com/coronavirus.
About 10 minutes past the top of the hour, let's get a check of that most accurate forecast now. After the rain that we saw earlier this week, I know that my yard, for one, so I think yours is probably the same, the grass is growing at a rapid pace. So this weekend would be a great time to get the lawnmower out and get everything back in order, pull those weeds that have been growing back there. I think we're going to have dry conditions for the rest of the weekend and into the start of next week. So a good time to spend some time in your yard. And as more of us spend time in our backyards, I think we're starting to notice too that we want to fix things up a little bit. We will get warm though in the second half of the day. 74 is that forecast high. We're staying dry, and just the few clouds that some of you are seeing this morning in the outlying areas of the valley, they will clear out by the end of this mid-morning, and we'll have sunny skies the rest of the afternoon. Now, things are changing a little bit. It's going to get a little windy in the high country, and there's still snow in the forecast in the high country. I'll talk about that coming up in just moments.
ABC 15 Sports, sponsored by Sanderson Ford.
Good evening, I'm Colin Harmon. The Olympics are slated to begin July 24th in Tokyo. And despite the ongoing global crisis, Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe has said the games will go on. Those are not the wishes of USA Swimming, which made its stance very clear today in a letter to the United States Olympic and Paralympic Committee, asking for them to speak up for athletes and use their voice to postpone the games until 2021. The letter saying in part, our world-class swimmers are always willing to race anyone, anytime, and anywhere. However, pressing forward amidst the global health crisis this summer is not the answer. Everyone has experienced unimaginable disruptions mere months before the Olympic Games, which calls into question the authenticity of a level playing field for all. The U.S. Olympic Committee responded saying they will give the IOC, which has been in constant contact with the World Health Organization, the opportunity to gather more data and expert advice before insisting that a decision be made.
It is 6:12 on your Saturday morning, doing his part to keep our community clean. Still ahead, the Valley student using his newfound free time to make a difference.
Also, a new study might be giving new hope in the treatment of dementia.
And you may not ever make it to the moon, but you can still make your mark on it. We'll explain coming up.
A gorgeous start to this Saturday as we get a live view over the valley. I'll let you know when those clouds clear out in that most accurate forecast coming up in just minutes. Stay with us, Arizona.
Well, here are some of the top stories that we're following for you this morning. North Korea has fired off 2 short-range ballistic missiles this morning into the sea near that country. South Korea and the U.S., they're now analyzing the launches, with some calling the drills very inappropriate, while the world is struggling with, of course, the global pandemic. And a new study suggests that brain inflammation may play a bigger role in more types of dementia. 31 brains were tested. Each showed that the more inflammation in the brain, the more buildup of abnormal junk proteins that are linked to dementia. The University of Cambridge researchers, they say that the findings offer new hope for new treatments. And Tom Brady is joining the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Wow. He's going to play for them this season. The 6-time Super Bowl champion writing this news on his Instagram page, saying that he is excited, humbled, and hungry. Brady announced that he was leaving the New England Patriots in a post earlier this week.
Still can't believe he did it.
I know, and those uniforms he's going to be in. Wow. Well, new this morning, a hiker on a volcano in Hawaii, he came upon what he calls the discovery of a lifetime.
People find a little mortar round or a grenade. I found a 600-pound bomb.
Oh.
Wow. Singson, who served in the armed forces and used to work with explosives, says that once he saw it, he knew immediately that he was looking at the end of a rusted military bomb. He also knew that since the ordnance on the explosive hadn't gone off, it was probably not the safest place to be.
That's when it really hit me. I said, oh my God. I saw the front end of the bomb sticking out of the ceiling in the lava tube. The bomb was fully intact.
I would have tiptoed away from that one. Singson says that he called the Department of Land and Natural Resources and gave officials the GPS coordinates to that site. The department says that teams are now working with the military to coordinate a plan to dispose of that explosive.
You know, I was born and raised in Hawaii, so that's stunning to me because one of the 8 islands, Kaho'olawe, was used for bombing practice years and years and years ago, and then they made a big effort to go in, clean it all out. Now it's a bird sanctuary. So to see it on an outer island, is pretty shocking.
Yeah, I'd say you missed a spot. That's for sure.
I'd say.
Well, NASA wants your help. Look at this, designing a lightweight robot to dig on the surface of the moon.
So the space agency's goal is to set up a sustained presence on the moon under the Artemis Lunar Exploration Program. NASA has tested a few versions of a moon digging robot, and so now they need some ideas for a new design for a bucket drum. That part is going to collect and hold lunar soil, you know, moon rocks. So if you're interested, you can go to grabcad.com and submit your designs for the bucket that's going to collect it.
Yeah, all those engineering students, they're probably going to turn in some, maybe get some extra credit from NASA.
Exactly. Boy, that'd be pretty cool. Okay, so as you're looking up to the skies this morning, you might still see just a few lingering clouds, but I think by the middle of the day,
it's going to be nice.
Oh, there's going to be nothing but sunshine here in the Valley of the Sun. This is where we get the name from. I think it's going to be a gorgeous afternoon. Starting off a little chilly this morning in our outlying valley cities. We've got some 40s out there. 48 in Levine, Buckeye and Wickenburg down to the mid 40s. It's 46 in Anthem, Apache Junction in the upper 40s this morning. Same with Gilbert and Chandler. And that's because we're getting closer to that sunrise time at 6:30 this morning. We do see that dip in temperatures. It is the coldest time of the day. We've got similar temperatures to our south, upper 40s in Gila Bend and Casa Grande, as well as Safford this morning. But to our north, it's a frigid start once again up in the high country. In fact, you might still see a few passing snow showers this morning in northern Arizona. That's why we're down to 23 in Flagstaff right now. It's 28 in Heber Payson, sitting at 36 degrees. So if you have to get out and walk the dog this morning, make sure you've got that thick jacket on. Clouds and radar showing us a few of those snow showers here across the high country. Here in the valley, though, just those few clouds that have really started to clear out already up to our north. And Futurecast showing us we continue to see that cloud cover move to the north this afternoon. And by 9 o'clock, it's really starting to thin out by Flagstaff. Middle of the day, we could still see a few isolated thunderstorms up in the Window Rock and Four Corners area, the Kaibab Plateau. But then we continue to dry out through the rest of the day and even into your Sunday. So highs across the valley today. We're looking at a high of 75 in Mesa and Gilbert as well as Chandler. Santan Valley, Apache Junction up through Fountain Hills, a little bit cooler in the low 70s today. Anthem and Cave Creek staying in the upper 60s. And out on the west side, we're looking at the mid 70s in Peoria, 74 out in Goodyear, 74 in Levine, as well as Maricopa. Same temperature for you. And here's how we get there. In the 50s through 8 o'clock this morning. By 10, we're in the low 60s. Lunchtime, if you want to make yourself a little picnic and take it outside, out on the lawn, it'll be in the upper 60s. It's going to be really nice. And then we start warming into the 70s after that. We'll warm to the mid 70s in the middle of the day, right between 3 and 5 o'clock. Just be mindful if you are outside today, that UV index is still at a 6. That's considered high. It's a 30-minute burn time, so lots of sunscreen. Similar highs across the southern portion of our state in central Arizona, 74 in Safford today, 73 in Gila Bend, low 70s along our western border. Up in the Red Rocks area and the Verde Valley area, upper 50s, low 60s for you. 57 in Prescott, mid 50s in Payson today, as well as Show Low. And then we'll see 60s in Winslow, but the coldest spot up north is going to be in Flagstaff at 48 degrees. We're also going to see some breezes along the eastern portion of our state. Show Low around 15 miles an hour around lunchtime today. It starts to pick up and moves into the northern portion, Flagstaff area. 15-mile-an-hour winds, sustained winds possible. And then it all dies down statewide tonight, and just some light breezes heading into your Sunday. In Flagstaff, we will stay cool today, like I mentioned, and then we dry out for the rest of the weekend in the 50s, but we do have a slight chance for some snow showers come Monday, just in the high country. Here in the valley, though, we stay dry for the next 4 days and stay in the 70s, but things start to change by the end of the work week. I'll talk about that coming up in that 7-day forecast for you this morning.
All right, Nohe, thank you. And with schools, gyms, and so many businesses closed at this time, it can be tough for local teens to find something to do. But one East Valley High School junior is keeping busy by cleaning up his community. Here's ABC15 Sonuwasu with this young man's act of kindness.
His name is Jaron White, and thanks to a global pandemic called COVID-19, he's using his suddenly available free time to help keep others safe.
Everything that I do on a regular basis, school, my work, or the gym is closed, and parks aren't closed, and so I figured why not clean them.
Armed with a simple cleaning solution and a rag, Jaron tells me he's scrubbed down 9 Gilbert and Chandler parks in the last 4 days.
Today I'm just using a multi-purpose cleaner All the stores are sold out of bleach, which what I usually use as a bleach solution, but all stores are sold out of that.
While Jaron is hard at work just a few feet away, we ran into a City of Gilbert employee doing the same. He, like other families out here today, say they appreciate the helping hand.
I would be very proud of him. Yeah, I would. I can't even tell him I'm proud of him, and I'm not even his parent.
What do city officials think about Jaron's efforts? Both Gilbert and Chandler officials tell me the teen's actions are commendable. They invite him to join the city's Parks Volunteer Program, where he can learn how the city does this job by trained staff.
All right, here we go.
Still a kid at heart, Jaron tells me he's all about it. He's always had a heart for service.
The church I go to, we volunteer a lot for things, so I like to volunteer and help, I guess.
Jaron tells me so far he spent about $40 to buy cleaning supplies to clean these parks, all out of pocket. In Gilbert, Sonu Wasu, ABC15, Arizona.
A fantastic example for us all. 6:22 now on your Saturday morning. They're on the front lines of the COVID-19 pandemic, and now nurses and doctors are taking to social media to share their stories. And you may call it the silver lining in a time of economic anxiety, how the pandemic is now impacting your personal loans. Going to battle without a helmet. That's how one emergency room doctor explained his fight against the coronavirus. This is healthcare workers across America and the world, for that matter, take to social media to show the grim reality of what they're dealing with on the front lines. Meredith Wood has the very latest.
Hashtag #GetMePPE is trending because it's what healthcare workers pleading for more supplies to combat coronavirus are using on social media to get the word out and get their stories heard. One doctor delivering a chilling message on Twitter. NYC mother of two, double frontline MD couple. Don't make us orphan our two toddlers, running out of masks, eye protection, and gloves at work. Medical teams facing thousands of cases in America's hardest hit state. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo made a plea to any company that might have the capabilities to make personal protective equipment.
They're not complicated. A mask is not a complicated item to make. A PPE gown is not a complicated item. Gloves, nitrile gloves, are not a complicated item. If you can make them, we will give you funding to do it.
The White House Coronavirus Task Force says they are hearing healthcare workers' cries.
The president worked with the Congress to make industrial masks fully available for hospitals to be able to purchase, to be able to use as protective equipment. We're more encouraged than ever about the availability of those important N95 masks to our healthcare facilities. And over this weekend, we'll be announcing a major procurement from the federal government of N95 masks as well.
I'm Meredith Wood reporting.